5 years ago, I graduated from Stonehill College in Easton, Massachusetts, a small college with no more than 500 people in my class graduating. When I graduated from the College of Science with a degree in biology, specifically a Bachelor of Science. And when I graduated, I entered the workforce and I came into the adult work world, and I saw everything that everybody was doing, and I said to myself, how do I get myself ahead? How do I give myself the best opportunity that I can in life? And that's what led me to finance. When I got to finance, that's what led me to crypto. And ultimately, when I got into crypto, that's what led me to Bitcoin. In this video, I will less so talk about the reasons for why you want to buy Bitcoin, and more so my experience with Bitcoin and crypto, and what I've learned from that experience. And I'm hoping that you can hear an abridged version of my last 5 years and maybe take something away, and hopefully it teaches you something. Since being in crypto and Bitcoin over the last 5 years, I have experienced a lot of different things. A couple things that jump to mind are mainly the FTX failure in 2022, the failure of Celsius, and the failure of Terra Luna. Those three instances alone were extremely detrimental to the market and caused a lot of volatility. Volatility that shook out a lot of my compadres that were holding alongside of me. Many of the people that I first got into crypto with are no longer in crypto because of these events that I've just talked to you about. Now, what happened did change me as well, and I'm going to talk about what I learned from those experiences, why I didn't sell my Bitcoin, and how my portfolio has changed over those 5 years. So set the stage back to 2021, May of 2021. I just graduated. I had a job lined up, not making a lot of money, not a lot of benefits, and I really just wanted to take in the little bit of money that I did have for income and try to save that in the best place possible, trying to invest my money the best way. I listened to many different content creators, some of which you probably have heard of. I listened to Dave Ramsey and all of his Ramsey personalities. Shout out to Rachel Cruz. And also I listened to the Money Guys. I listened to Graham Stephan. I listened to Andre DeCecchi. I listened to all these different people, including even Benjamin Cowan. And from all of these different people that I learned about finance through, I learned about the S&P 500. I learned about index funds, ways of safely growing your money, traditional indices, the 40-60 portfolio, put 60% of your money into stocks, 40% into bonds, and there was no such thing as crypto at that time. At that time, crypto wasn't even a concept. Bitcoin was the first blockchain that was created in 2009, and it didn't exist when the 40-60 portfolio was first thought of. So when I first started learning about finance, I did eventually get to crypto, and I do have to give a lot of credit to a lot of people. I didn't find crypto on my own or Bitcoin on my own. It was other people that pointed me towards it, and I am eternally grateful for their help and their support through this process. So I remember first joining crypto. Bitcoin was around $40,000, and it did go on to go up to 60,000 and down to it went up to 60, all the way down to 16,000, and that was a fun ride. But really the more important thing at that time for me was the altcoin market. And the altcoin market was definitely a market that I was participating in and very much excited me. It was intoxicating with how much fun it was to be into altcoins. At that time, when you got into crypto, Bitcoin was perceived as a boomer coin. It just happened to be the first crypto, and for that reason alone, that's why anybody was buying it, and that's why it had any price. I have since greatly changed my mind on that, but I'm just trying to set the scene for my initial contextual mind space that I was in when I was in crypto in 2021. So throughout 2021 and 2022, it was all about finding the right coins, trying to find whatever the best project was with the right people that had the right goals, and they were making the right results. They were driving those results, and you wanted to read the right paper, and you wanted to change the world. Every coin was going to somehow change the world in its own sort of way. And that was the mindset around a lot of these different coins. It was like, Bitcoin's too old. Here's how my coin is going to be better than Bitcoin. And I had around a dozen different cryptocurrencies. Most of them at this point are null and void, failed, total failures. My number one crypto that I was in was ADA, Cardano, and I really loved it. There was a lot of things at that time that I could have told you of why it was going to be the future. I really liked the hard cap of the 35 billion. I remember that. I liked that part of it. I liked the staking part of it. They told me that proof of stake was going to be the future. And it really excited me because it was going to be less energy intensive than Bitcoin mining, proof of work. Nowadays, that's also an opinion that of mine that has changed, but I'm just trying to set the scene for you and how exciting everything was back then. I bought ADA at like $2.80 worth of coin, and it went up to $3 and like 10 cents a coin. It was absolutely insane. Now, if you look at the price of ADA, it's around like 15 cents a coin, just to show you of how much it failed. And then after everybody was adequately excited, they overextended themselves. People were taking out debt to buy crypto, taking out leveraged long positions to say, I think my altcoin is going to go up 20% in the next couple of days. Therefore, I'm going to take out a 5x position and get a crisp 100%. No, if you took out a 5x position, you were toast. This is when things like Voyager happened, Celsius, and FTX, the FTT token falling. There were many, many different instances of people losing money for reasons that they were betrayed by the crypto community, people that were wolves in sheep's clothing, like the CEO of Celsius, the CEO Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX, for example. And this really shook people. Bitcoin crashed to $15,000 per coin, and it came all the way down from 60,000. That's around a 75% decrease. Very dangerous. And a lot of people capitulated at those levels. They sold at the worst possible time, and I considered selling as well at those low levels. And the reason for that is because I didn't understand at the time exactly what made Bitcoin so special, and it was through these really hard experiences that I learned why exactly I was getting into Bitcoin, what money really is, and why these other crypto coins don't measure up to Bitcoin. So a big reason for why a lot of these companies failed, like Voyager and Celsius and FTX, is because a lot of people trusted the executive team and the people that were behind these either projects or coins. Essentially, a lot of people got together and threw their money behind certain people instead of throwing their money behind strong ideals, which is what Bitcoin represents. It made me realize, like, why doesn't Bitcoin have a CEO? Why doesn't it have like a chief PR person? Why doesn't it have like a chief legal team? Why does the core team not have why is that not actually the company of Bitcoin? Why isn't Bitcoin a company? You don't think about this stuff until you go through something like a bear market where everything is breaking and your excitement falls out from beneath your feet, and all of a sudden you're just losing money and you don't understand why. You need to really look at your thesis and think, what did I get right and what did I get wrong? So when I looked at my thesis and I saw crypto falling and everything failing, I thought to myself, Bitcoin is actually the future of money, and it's not because it's only going down less than everything else. It's because of the ideals and the fundamentals behind it. There is no CEO. Everybody is forced to trust everybody because of the node operating process, because of proof of work. Proof of work is a legitimate consensus mechanism that you can't break, you can't hack, unlike proof of stake, where the more coins you have, the more money you'll make. It's sort of like the fiat system where we have right now, where the rich get richer. It's not like that in Bitcoin. It doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you have, you're not going to be able to game the system and mine more coins. It just doesn't work like that. And there's a lot of different reasons for why you should buy Bitcoin, and that's not what this video is about. In a sense, I just came to realize why Bitcoin truly was different than all those other cryptocurrencies, including Ethereum, which is the number 2 crypto. Why it truly is different, why it's number 1, is not because it's a boomer coin and it was here first. It's because it actually is the revolution. So once I realized that Bitcoin was the revolution, it really solidified in me what I really care about in this market and what I was actually trying to buy in the first place. I wasn't trying to buy Or maybe I was doing it wrong. I was trying to invest my money in the fastest moving horse and just try to make as much fiat money as possible, but that's totally the wrong way of looking at it. The way you want to look at it, and this is what I've learned, is you want to have as much hard money as possible. And however that moves doesn't matter. You want to be able to just hold on to your money. Bitcoin is truly the hardest money in the world, and my tough experiences that I went through, specifically in 2022, really did turn me into a hardcore Bitcoin maximalist. I hold absolutely no coins now besides my Bitcoin position. So for all of those reasons, like a hard cap supply of Bitcoin, like the fact that nobody has to trust anybody, like the fact that it has the strongest consensus mechanism we've ever seen. Also, it's been up 99.99% of the time, unlike Solana, for example. Long-term thinking, hard money, all those reasons turned me into a Bitcoin maximalist. And it's why a lot of other people have had this similar journey to me, where you go into crypto trying to just make money, and then it turns you into a Bitcoin maximalist. If you spend enough money, if you spend enough time and money into crypto, it's very likely that you're going to have a similar experience as to what I just conveyed to you. So where does that leave me today? 5 years later, what does my portfolio look like? I still do hold some equities, so I still have some indexes that I am in, but I am mainly a Bitcoin person. I hold Bitcoin and no other cryptocurrency, and the main thing that I am buying at this time, especially in this downturn, with Bitcoin today at $62,000 per coin, I'm buying heavily Bitcoin because Bitcoin is hard money. It's the hardest money we've ever seen, and it has only been verified and backed up over my last 5 years of experience in the crypto space. And I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. Bitcoin has always been the number one coin in the space, and it's always going to be the number one coin in the space. There will be no flippening of Ethereum over Bitcoin. So if you look at my portfolio today, the vast majority of it at this point is in Bitcoin, and I couldn't feel better about it. The only thing is that I wish I had some more. So the takeaway of the video is that I want you to know that buying Bitcoin, getting into crypto, it's not hard to do that. It's really not hard to buy Bitcoin. It's difficult to maintain your ideals and to stick to your fundamentals and to have a plan, know what you're talking about, and stick to that plan and truly believe and have conviction in your strategy. It's more important than anything to come up with a good plan and to maintain conviction to that good plan. If it's a good plan, you should be able to stick to it both when times are good and when times are bad. So when my times were bad in crypto, like in ADA, and the time was to get out, and that was the right move at that time, because when I got out, I was down bad, but it's down even worse from when I got out. It was definitely the right move to get out and to switch into Bitcoin. But even when I did that, I got a lot of hate from people that were in Cardano. You can't listen to anybody. You need to have a strong conviction in what you believe. And if there's one thing to take away from my 5 years experience, it's got to be that. So I do thank you for listening to me talk about my 5 years experience in Bitcoin. And I hope that you have a great day. And I hope that you watch my other videos. This is DeFi Generate, and I talk about Bitcoin and why you should hold it, and I want you to become a DeFi Generate with us. Thank you very much for listening.